Macca's guides.
Hey guys, Macca here with another Crackdown 3 video, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all of the locations of the Agent DNA Orbs. Now if you're starting a new game, you may notice that there are only 6 characters available, and then there will be 15 characters that are not available when you first start, and those characters will need to be earned through picking up collectibles in the in-game open world. Now you might be wondering what the point of actually using any other agent other than Terry Crews is, and that is because all of the agents have slightly different stats or slightly different specialties. For example, Terry Crews has bonus XP when using his strength and explosives, while other characters may be good with things like agility or driving. Additionally, there is an achievement related to this called Circle of Life for collecting all of the orbs worth 20 gamer score that I know a lot of gamers are interested in getting. Additionally, you're free to pretty much grab these as soon as you spawn in the open world, so feel free to grab them either right away or wait till the end of the game. In terms of the order, we'll be working our way around the map clockwise and then circling into the middle. So the video will start here in an area called the Exchange, just north of where we spawn. And you'll also see on the map how many Agent DNA Orbs you have for each section. The first character shown here is Marshall, who comes with 10% firearms XP and 5% strength XP. Additionally, when picking up a new character's orb, you will get a small piece of dialogue talking briefly about them.
Well, hello, Agent Marshall. This guy is a special blend of deadly ingredients, firearms, fists, and a whole lot of fury.
The next orb can be found in Founder's Footsteps. We're going to be using a supply point called the Monorail Station Exchange Station just as a point of reference when first starting. What you want to do is kind of head straight towards the center of the map with all of the tall buildings, and you can find this one kind of on the edge of the water there. Anderson's specialties are 10% firearms and 5% explosives experience.
Agent Anderson, best shooter I've ever seen. Any gun, any target, any time.
We then move slightly north of that and go to Con Scar on the far left side. There's a huge base that you'll probably have to take out as part of your main objective. Kind of near the top, near the back, you can find Nikias, who is a specialist in driving and firearms.
Light as a feather, tough as nails. You found a piece of Nikias? That makes me very happy. He still owes me $400, and he's a beast behind the wheel.
Continuing along our path around the map, we have Varma. Varma is a specialist in agility and firearms. She can be found in the dumping ground underneath a small kind of metal structure, so you should be able to quite easily spot this near the area on the map there.
You found Agent Varma, our hunter. When she's stalking the enemy, nothing is gonna stop her.
Next up, we are in Picker's Pen. We are in kind of the central area of all of the little buildings here. There is a bootleg bargains store, and you can find it just next to that store. While you're here, pick up the decimator that is right next to the agent orb. Hicks is a master in driving and explosives.
I'm working to track Enforcer presence across the island.
Looks like this was Agent Hicks. That daredevil drove like his car was on fire. And sometimes it was, come to think of it.
Moving over one area, we are now in the Sulphur Spits. There is basically a giant mound of dirt in this area, and right in the middle of that dirt, you can find Lazar. And Lazar is an explosives and driving expert.
Agent Lazar. She's as bombastic as they come, especially when she's bombing the crap out of the enemy.
The next area over is the Refinery. We'll be using a supply point as our point of reference. This one is called the Chemical Plant, and the nearest Agent Orb is for Petrov, who is an explosives and agility expert, which is a pretty useful class. You should be able to spawn at this supply point and locate a large statue of a person in the distance. All we'll have to do is go towards that statue and find the Agent Orb inside.
It's an advanced technological tumor, spreading toxins across the island. But it's also a modern marvel. It's your job to test how much damage that marvel can take. Looking for an agent with no fucks to give? You found him. Petrov is hardcore. Lucky for us, he's on our side.
The next area we move to is Ashwood Marina. I think this is the first area that has multiple Agent Orbs. It actually has 3. So we'll start off by spawning near the Ashwood Entertainment racetrack. And we will basically, from the racetrack, pointing towards the racetrack, we'll exit out the back and then head all the way to the shoreline. On top of some containers here, you should be able to find Agent Schmidt, and they are an explosives and strength expert. Yet another pretty useful character build.
There she is, Agent Schmidt. I'd call her a firecracker, but last time she punched me in the face and said call her the bomb.
Spawning back at the Ashwood Marina racetrack, from the supply point, you can find Agent Baresi right above you from where the supply point spawn is. So you'll have to do a little bit of scaling here in order to get up there. They are a specialist in driving and strength. From personal experience, I don't think the agents that do have the driving experience are all that useful, as driving is not really a great tactic in Crackdown 3. But maybe some people out there are going to be going for all of the gold medals and all of the races. And for those people, it might be easier to use the agents with driving. I don't know.
A posh, gated community for Terra Nova's yet. I was hoping you'd find Baresi. Some agents just get it, and by it, I mean the need for speed. She drives like a maniac. It's amazing.
Last but not least, in Ashwood Heights at the racetrack, we can find our third Agent Orb for this area. Pretty much as we spawn at the supply point directly in front of us. In the middle of this area, there's a little mound of dirt with some kind of toxic shards coming out of it. And there we can find the next agent, who is Agent Cuan, specializes in agility and strength.
Agent Cuan. He's the mysterious sword. You never know what's on his mind, but damn, can he move like the wind.
Alright, for number 11 out of 15, we are in the area called The Vision, just kind of south of the Ashwood Heights area. The agent we're going for is Agent Mensah, and their specializations are in strength and agility. This clip is pretty long as it takes quite a bit of time to get to them, even if using the supply point as a little bit of a checkpoint. You'll have quite a bit of climbing to do, and then you'll have a little bit of a jump to get, down to the area. You will have to make sure to either like double jump your way down safely or ground pound, so you don't take too much fall damage if you jump from a pretty big height. But after a little bit of scaling the building and a little bit of, problem solving, you should be able to get to it.
That's Mensah. Focused. Intense. She could make dismembering someone an art form.
Next up, agent number 12 in this video is Agent Walker, a specialist in both firearms and agility found in Southern Heights. I'm using the kind of Heights Place building as my supply point checkpoint to start my journey. It's probably going to be the easiest point of reference for you guys. And what we need to do is basically make our way across some of these buildings and then on to a little bit of a windmill. The jumps here can be a little bit tricky if you're not paying attention, but basically get to the closest possible building, scale that building, and then make the big jump across, making sure to break your fall with a double jump or a dash, and make sure you pick it up once you're there.
That DNA belongs to Walker. He's an old school agent, as honorable as they come, and one hell of a marksman.
Using the supply point of Central Slums in the Southern Heights, we can find Agent Gadise, who is a specialist in both firearms and driving. You should be able to find this one just nearby the supply point on the shore of the beach here.
All right, Agent Gadise. She is lethal with rifles, shotguns, fully loaded, heat-seeking agency missiles. Yeah, she's just lethal.
Next up, we're in New Pantheon, the center of the map where all the bosses live. We're going to start by using the first floor industry sector of the main Terra Nova building as our supply point. This is actually the last one I found, and it's for Agent Ramos, and they're an expert in strength and driving. What we need to do is basically jump down on these three buildings that make this shape and break our fall by either using a double jump or a dash or a ground pound. And you should be able to pick it up, but it does involve a pretty big jump from a building pretty far away. Last but not least, we have our final agent. I'm going to be spawning in Oasis Precinct, which is the closest supply point to this Agent Orb. And we're going to drop down, use the monorail systems to kind of stay above ground, drop on the highway, and go just above the tunnel entrance to find Agent Bartrom, who is a specialist in explosives and strength. And I do believe all of the character models in the game are actually based off of real people. Agent Bartrom is based off of Doc Cupcake, and I think the backstory here is that the Crackdown team had a little bit of an auction going for charity, and one of the prizes was the ability to be an agent in the game, and I think that's how this came about, which is pretty cool.
Of course they've built... Excellent. You found Bartrom. He's my kind of guy, a good egg, who also loves blowing shit up.
Thank you guys so much for watching my guide on how to collect all 15 of the Agent Orbs in Crackdown 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Share with a friend, drop a like. Special thanks to all the amazing people on Patreon. Shout out to Double O, and hopefully I see you guys next time. Peace.